Hello everyone, welcome to my first video ever. So today in this video, I'll be talking about some advice and tricks for high school juniors that I wish I knew when I was a high school junior, coming from a high school senior. So I'll be sharing 6 practical tips for you, and also if I'm looking down here, I'm looking at my laptop, which just has like a bunch of notes for me to follow along. So when you're ready, let's get started. So my first tip is to study for the SAT, ACT, or the PSAT. I definitely recommend taking the PSAT because it can definitely prepare you for the SAT and the ACT, because I believe the structure is pretty like similar in some ways, and it'll just acquaint you with like the question types and stuff like that. But if you do well on the PSAT, it can definitely like give you a lot of recognition with like the PSAT National Merit Scholarship Award, and yeah, it will just look really good on your college application. But obviously, like, I personally wasn't really like going for that because I know I'm like really not the best test taker, and I knew that the time investment that I put into studying for the PSAT, my return on investment on that in like economics terms would not pay off in the long run, because I would have to invest more time in the PSAT for something that isn't really like guaranteed in a way, when I could be investing that time in like developing my extracurriculars further, or just focusing more on my academics at school. But if you are a pretty good test taker, if you are very like academics oriented and you think that you can do well on the PSAT, then definitely go for that and go for the National Merit Finalist spot, because it can definitely give you like a lot of recognition, and also just in general try to take the SAT and the ACT at least like maybe like 2-3 times. If you take it like over 3 times, I think it will look pretty bad. But I don't know if that matters for schools that do like score choice, which is like, you just sending your highest subsections of the SAT or the ACT. So I don't think that it'll matter too much. But just in general, like after 2 to 3 tries, you will reach like a glass ceiling in a way that like your score probably won't really improve drastically unless you put in like a ton of work, or something miraculous just happens. Yeah. Now my second tip is definitely to apply to programs such as like scholarships or summer programs or just academic based programs, because there are a lot for high school juniors specifically that I didn't really capitalize on. Like, I wasn't really looking for these opportunities during my junior year just because I was pretty focused academically on like getting the best grades and also maintaining my own extracurricular activities that I'd already had. In retrospect, I definitely kind of like regret this decision, because there's so many great opportunities out there that like if you just look, there will be one that will match your interest. And I'll just put a few on the screen right now. There's also a bunch of scholarships. So if you are more business inclined, I definitely recommend you apply to the Bank of America Student Leaders Program, the Yale Women in Economics, Thrive Scholars, MIT, MOSTEC, and MITES programs for those who are more interested in STEM or engineering, Yale Young Global Scholars, TASP for those more humanities inclined. But generally, you could also participate in it even if you're not like too humanities inclined. Arise, part of NYU, it's a research program. The Questbridge College Prep Scholars, the Wharton LBW, which is the leadership, business summer intensive. It is a bit pricey, but I would say that it's pretty prestigious, and I know Penn does look at demonstrated interest. So if you can get your foot in the door for that program, it probably look pretty good. But I also just checked out their website. They don't really give all the financial aid like through scholarships, so it might not be good for you if you can't afford it, or if your family can't afford it financially. But there's other ones, so don't just focus on that one. And yeah, I'll link more up there, and also some scholarship opportunities. Maybe try to apply to maybe like 2 to 3 like every month or something like that. I definitely recommend you to subscribe to some scholarship engines such as GoMary, scholarships.com, FastWeb, or bold.org. There's plenty of other ones. Personally, my favorite is GoMary because it has like a lot of features that you can toggle, and it will like filter things based on what you want to see. So these are just some notable ones. Calvin Coolidge Scholarship, and it's just for high school juniors. Horatio Alger Scholarship, and there's some other ones that I'll put on the screen right now. And my fourth tip is to keep up your grades. Obviously, junior year is often the most, challenging and rigorous academically, so colleges will probably assess your grades from junior year, with a more critical eye. And fifth, expanding the reach of your extracurriculars and just like the general impact that you have made in it, because trust me, by probably like fall of senior year, you probably won't be able to like do as much for extracurriculars, or you have to put it down for a while because you will be overwhelmed with all those supplemental essays, even if you're applying for early decision. And my last tip is to start researching colleges and go on tours during breaks if you have the means to, or if you can. Please don't be like me. I was just like frantically just adding new schools to my list a few weeks before the deadline, which I really do not recommend. And just try to start researching like colleges that you like, and just keep an open mind about it. And just like talk to your parents about like what kind of college they want you to go to, or like the location, and also like how convenient it is for you to like go back home when. Alright, that's it for my first video, so please don't forget to like and subscribe, and also comment down below if you have any questions about what I just said today. I would be happy to answer any inquiries that you might have. Thank you, bye, see you next time.